So now we have an input with class color. And when we choose the color, the value of that input box becomes the hexadecimal value of that color. This is really convenient because now we can take the value of this input box and change the value of this CSS property, the background gradient. And for that, we are going to use jQuery. Now let's go to the text editor. I'm going to open up File. Now in the scripts folder, I have jQuery-3.0.0.min.js. So I'm going to right click, choose rename, but I'm not going to rename it. Instead, I'm going to copy this to my clipboard. And then in the head section of the HTML document, I'm going to create a script tag. Its source is going to be in the scripts folder. / now I'm going to paste what I put on my clipboard, which was the link to the jQuery file. Now I need to create another script tag. I'm going to set its source to a file that doesn't yet exist. And I'm going to call that, it's going to be in the scripts folder, and I'm going to call it color.js. Now let's make this color.js and then put it in the scripts file. So let's go to either File and choose New File, or simply, how about just Control-N. In all the software that I'm familiar with, Control-N is the hotkey for creating new documents. So we're in a new document, and let's call it color.js. I'll press Control-Shift-S and then save it in the scripts folder. So we have our jQuery library here and our color.js. So now let's test it to see if we're linked up right. Let's create a document ready function. Okay, inside the document ready function, I'm going to alert something. In this course, we will be using the this keyword. So right now I want to alert this. Save that and refresh. Okay, I get object HTML document. Okay. So this keyword refers back to the object document. Now let's see what would happen if we wrote another function. I'm going to get the input with class of color. When I change it, so what I want to do is copy this and paste it right here. So what's going to happen is when we refresh the page, I'm going to alert this. Then I'm going to change something in the input type color, input with a class of color, and again I'm going to alert this. I'm going to save that, and what do you think is going to happen now? Okay, I get the object HTML document. Now I'm going to change something here. Now I get an object HTML input element. Okay, so what we have here is that this refers to this object, and this refers to this object. You can learn a whole lot more at this website, JavaScript is Sexy. In fact, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to copy this, the address, and I'm going to put it in as a comment. In this course, we're only going to be using this keyword inside a jQuery function, and it's always going to be referring to the object, that which the event is going to be applied to. So this is the event, this is the object, and this keyword is always going to be pointing to that object. I want to declare a variable. I'm going to get this, and I'm going to get its value. So what's going to happen now is that, well, I need to declare the variable. I'm going to call it top color. So top color is going to equal the value of this when I change it. And then I'm going to alert top color just to see what I get. Okay, I'm going to save that, go up here and refresh. Now when I change this, so whenever we make a change to the input class color, we capture its value in a variable, and that's what we are alerting. Now let's do something else. Let's go back to the code. I want to take that alert off. I want to get the class of gradient, class of gradients, and set its CSS. I'm going to set its background property. So what I want to do is when I change the input with the class of color, I want to also change the CSS of this class of gradient. I'm going to set its background to a color. For right now, I'm going to choose just a static color. I'm going to go with 00FFFF. That's a turquoise color. So I'm going to save that. So I'll refresh. So now when I make a change here in this input with a class of color, I want to see a change here in this gradient. And sure enough, I get the change that actually I wanted. But now what I want to do is anytime I change the input with a class of color, I want to get its value, store that in this variable. Then I want to take this variable color and replace the turquoise color with it. So I'm going to take the turquoise color out, and now I'm going to add to that the variable color. So I need to concatenate a string with a variable. So the variable goes outside of the quotation marks, but I need to add with a plus sign. That's concatenation top color. So I'll save that, refresh. Let's see if that works. The background should become blue, and it does. Now the background should become green because I'm choosing green. Okay, so let's go over this. I'm going to give it a little bit more space, bring this over here. When we change the input, we get the value of this input and store that value in a variable called top color. Then we take that variable and we add it to a hashtag in order to change the background property of the gradient element. Now, since we call this element a class of gradients, we should put gradients in that element, and we'll do that in the next lesson.